Hello. Good evening. It's been a really long time since my last live video, so let me know how the audio sound. Let me know that I'm good on this audio. Thanks. Okay, my fault. Just bear with me. Just bear with me for a second. I do just want to take this second. I've been trying to use this time to I've been trying to use this time to really just reflect about how the summer went, reflect about how City Market had went, and different other things like that. But I think that it would be, I think that I have to talk about this case, and I think that I have to talk about what has been going on recently, just because of how we try to operate in full transparency. So, just to give everybody an update and to do a little bit of background into this is like the part of the episode where it's previously on the May 30th Alliance on November 8th. It was a altercation which ended up in my arrest. The altercation started when, well, really it was chalk written in front of Rockford Orthopedic, chalk that I did not write, chalk that I had no part of being written down or anything like that. But what was written down was political messages, things like just political messages that is similar to what the other chalk that has written down here. Justice for people who have been killed, just different ACAB, just different other political messages. Nothing that was directed towards Rockford Orthopedic at all. And again, I did not write this. And we've had a long back and forth about the people from Rockford Orthopedic. And it was a warmer day, and I had walked across this corner of City Hall, and then on returning, I saw that I think it was four Rockford Orthopedic employees. They was washing away the chalk. They was mopping it, and they began to wave at me. And I really don't like to have no contact with them, because at this point, to me, I know that they racist white people. I'm not trying to. I know there's nothing that I can do, nothing I can say that can convince them to change their thoughts, to change their opinions. They just all racist white people. So I try not to engage with them at all. But they begin to wave at me and say something. And this is all captured. This is captured on video. It's captured them waving at me. It's captured them initiating this whole interaction. So because we like to try to operate on full transparency, and they began to initiate this interaction, I grabbed my phone out and I began to record. I had no intentions of trying to stop them from washing away the chalk, and matter of fact, I actually moved out of the way so I believe her name is Joreen could continue to wash away the chalk. It was at this time that I believe it's her son. That's the relationship. That's the dynamic that they have. And this is what he do. He became very aggressive. He began yelling. Getting in my face. I told him to get out of my face, and it was just this whole interaction where it got to a point where he had to be physically held back. He had to be physically pushed back into this store. All for nothing. The only thing that I said during this interaction was that it was a public sidewalk, that they were trying to argue that I cannot be over there. They were trying to argue that I was trespassing, and the only thing that I said during this interaction, which is proven, which is true, is the fact that it was a public sidewalk that we was all on. That's the only thing that I've ever said. That's the only thing that I said during this interaction. And this is all caught on video. I just shared it again on the May 30th Alliance page. So you can go back and watch this video. It's like 2 minutes. And at some point in time, after I move out of the way so Joreen can continue to wash away the chalk and continue to mop. John Michael, I don't know his name. after he had to be physically restrained and physically pushed back into the store. Joreen, his mother, would end up following him to the store. I would continue filming this public sidewalk and continue filming the chalk being washed away. But it's at this point, there was no other interactions that we had. There was no other conversations that we had. I did not engage in them. The only thing that I said during this interaction is that we were on a public sidewalk. And that this is important, because what I would later find out on the police report, when I would end up walking around, after they went inside, I end up walking around, and I end up seeing that it was a paddy wagon that was parked outside Mobile. And obviously that was cause for alarm. Obviously that, to me, was thinking, okay, some shit about to go down. They called the police, and really there's nothing that I did that would, to me, there's nothing that I did that would raise to the level of an arrest. It was the only thing that I said during this interaction. I'm laughing because it's so fucking ridiculous, is that we were on a public sidewalk. Interaction, this whole, I want to call it that, was caught on video, and it was posted immediately. So I see the paddy wagon, then I walk around more up here, and I see it's a police car in this alley right here next to Wired, and it's another police car parked under the UAW, and it's another one somewhere, I think behind the Rockford Orthopedic. And so obviously this is just more and more cause for alarm that some shit about to go down. Police are around. They're itching for an arrest. So and again, that 2-minute video is the end of my interaction with Joreen and John Michael McFarland. So I would come over here, and I'll be sitting over here, and as maybe like an hour and a half later, I can see 4 police officers walking out from this alley next to Wired, and I could tell by the way that they're walking, they got a certain type of walk when they about to send somebody to jail. It's sick. They move a certain type of way when they're getting ready to put somebody in handcuffs. So I could tell by how they was walking that I was gonna get arrested. So I ended up giving my phone to another member of the May 30th Alliance, and I'd get arrested. I'd be charged with 2 disorderlies, and the allegation was that I had called them racist, and other racial slurs. That was the allegation. And again, this is all on video. It's on video. The only thing that I say during this video, and I was real careful what I said during this video, I'm trying to be real careful what I say during these interactions, was that we was on a public sidewalk, and that I was not trying to fight, and that I was not trying to cause any problems. That's the only things that I said during this video. So I ended up getting arrested, getting charged with 2 disorderlies, and my bond was set at $130. And so I ended up getting bonded out maybe a few hours after that, and I get out. I didn't have no conditions on my bond, and we just went about a day. We just went about the rest of the day. Now something that would raise alarm, not necessarily raise alarm, but something that would be peculiar or unusual was another member of the May 30th Alliance would look on Windcoil and see that this charge, the disorderly conduct charge from November 8th, at the time, it was not on Windcoil. It was never submitted, and it just wasn't on there. And that's very odd. That is very peculiar. Usually, if it's not going to be on there, it'll take a weekend, if that. A weekend. But this had been a week, and it had not shown up, and we had not heard anything. Then so that happened on November 8th. That I'm trying to get the timeline of everything down. That happened on November 8th. Then on November 22nd, the member of the May 30th Alliance that bonded me out would receive a letter in the mail, an envelope in the mail that had a check. It was a check for $70. with no case number. That just said it was from, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it said it was from the Winnebago County court. It was them paying $70 back. Keep in mind that I got bonded out. My bond was set at $130. They had to pay $130 to get me out of jail. Now, at this time, when he had received the check, it was no case number on the check. It was no acknowledgement of what the charge was. It was nothing. It was obvious that it was returning of a bond, returning due to a dropped case, but it was unclear what the charge was, whose charge it was. It was a lot of questions behind it. So he ended up going the next day. That happened, I believe, November 22nd. So about 2 weeks, to a week and a half. That happened November 22nd, and the next day he go to the court. He go to the clerk's office rather, and he asked him, who was this check from? Who was this? What charge is this? What charge was dropped? And initially they say they look up my name because they think that because I was a person who last had been arrested, that it was a good possibility that it could have been mine, especially considering the fact that it was not on court at this point. But initially they had said that I had not had any drop charges. It was I didn't have any drop charges, and that he would need to return with a check. So he ended up going the next day and returning with a check, and they was able to look up. I don't know what they was able to look up the check number, look up the bank account number. I don't know what the fuck they was able to look up, but they was able to look something up that told them that it was my charge, and it came from November 8th. So from that, I've never had any drop charges. I think I've been arrested maybe 15 times in these last 2 years that have all been at or related to a protest, and I have never had any drop charge at all, not one. So for me, it initially, when it was confirmed that this case number, this charge that was dropped, this money was returned, was due to these two disorderly conducts, and it was these two charges that had been gotten dropped. It didn't feel like a win. It didn't feel like I didn't feel good. Like, it wasn't a good feeling. It was a feeling of, okay, so now what? This isn't justice to me. This isn't nothing good came from this. I was unlawfully arrested. I was unlawfully sent to jail. I unlawfully had other people had unlawfully post money for me to be released from jail, and they returned $70 of that, almost half of that money they kept for themselves. So it did not feel. I was not leaping with joy about these two drop charges. I was more feeling of, okay, so what the fuck is this? This is not no type of justice. This is not no type of. I was not compensated for my time spent in jail. The people who made these false allegations were not reprimanded in any type of way. The only thing that happened was somebody got $70 back. $70 out of $130. And because I had never had gotten any drop charges, I didn't really know what the fuck to do. When they release you from jail, they give you a bond out paper that say your next court date. So some questions as, do I go to this court date? Is it they're gonna play games at this court date? I'm not sure what exactly the circumstances are. So I end up going to the court date. I think the date was set for the 29th of November. I go to the court date. It's in misdemeanor court, and I go talk to the bailiff. I go outside. First of all, I go outside. Not I go outside. I'm outside the courtroom, and I'm looking at the docket, and I don't see my name on the docket. So then, obviously, I'm thinking, okay, on this paperwork, the paperwork that they gave me, I'm supposed to be in here at this room. Why isn't my name on the board? So I go in there, and I talk to the bailiff, ask what my name is. I tell him what my name is, and he tell me that I'm not on the docket, that I'm good to go. Then that wasn't really good enough for me. So I pulled out the paperwork, the bond out sheet, and I showed him that I had court on this day at this time. And at first he didn't really want to do nothing. At first he was like, I'm busy right now. We got a lot of people in here. Then I told them that I'm trying to figure out, do I got to pay attention to this case, or I got to go to another day? What the fuck's going on? I ain't never had no drop charge. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do in this circumstance. So he tell me to go to the clerk's office and they can get me a letter from the state's attorney saying that these charges are dropped. So I go to the state's attorney office, and what had caused some confusion initially was the fact that I had been arrested on November 8th, but then I had also been arrested on November 27th, I believe, was Shoreline State. I was arrested then as well. I believe, no, yeah, I was arrested on November 27th. So it initially caused some confusion about whether the charge was dropped, but then I had a new charge. So I had talked to the state's attorney, the clerk's office rather, and they had told me that the charge had been dropped. They had told me that, but they had also told me that there was nothing that they could do, that I would have to go up to the 6th floor, I believe it was, and talk to the person that was in the secretary or whoever, and they would give me a signed paper from the state's attorney saying that the charge was dropped. So I had went up there to the state's attorney, to the 6th floor, to the criminal division, and they had told me that I had not had any cases dropped. I had not had any charges dropped, and that the clerk's office was wrong. So after hearing that and after being told that, I went back down to the clerk's office and I asked him, what the fuck happened? Like, you're telling me this case is dropped. You told a member of the May 30th Alliance that my case was dropped and the bond money was returned already. The bond money was already returned. So obviously that this case was dropped. It was obvious that this case was dismissed for whatever reason. So I go down to the clerk's office. I tell them exactly what they told me on the 6th floor. The clerk's office say that they might be confused with the fact that I had been arrested 2 days prior. There might be some type of misunderstanding. So they printed out the probable cause statement of my arrest on Shoreline State, and they sent me back up to the 6th floor. And the 6th floor told me they was confused about what the charge was from. They took the paper. They came back and they said this charge has not been dropped. And I told her, no, I'm not. I know this charge hasn't been dropped. I just been arrested on this charge, but I'm talking about a case on November 8th. It does get a little confusing right here because purposely I think they want it to be confusing. They want to give me the end around. They want to have me going to this room, talking to this person and this person. So I think they had full intentions on giving me this runaround. So I end up going back down. They send me back down to the clerk's office. I talk to the clerk's office. They tell me that no, they're wrong. This bond money was already sent out. That I need to go back up there. Tell them that this charge is from a different date, and we're asking for a signed letter from the state's attorney that this charge was dropped. So it's at that point that I go back up to the 6th floor. I try to explain to her, and it's a man that was in there, and I'm pretty sure that he was a cop, but I haven't confirmed that. But he would end up saying, he would just over here. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He was just in the lobby. He was just walking back and forth. He would say that that division, the criminal division, is 3 weeks behind on paperwork, and they never know what the fuck they're doing. And I don't know. He was just talking about the incompetence level of it all. And when this person would come back from the state's attorney office, she would say that, okay, the charge has been dismissed, but I need to talk to the lawyer handling this case, and the lawyer will send you a letter. All you need to do is come back tomorrow, and we'll have that letter ready for you. Okay. So that happened on November 29th, right? This is all the saga that went down on November 29th. And this is the letter. I went back on November 30th, and they had this letter waiting for me. from, I don't know, I don't want to show too much on my address on here. It's say Jay Hanley. It's from the state's attorney. I'll post this afterwards on my page and on the May 30th Lance page as well. This is what it say. This is what it say. It say my name and say, please be advised that at this time our office has decided not to prosecute you for the charges of disorderly conduct for which you were recently arrested. Our decision is based on several factors and does not mean that you should not have been arrested. We are keeping a record of this incident and our decision. If additional information regarding this incident comes to our attention, or if in the future we are notified of any similar activity, then we will strongly consider authorizing a criminal charge against you. That charge will result in a warrant being issued for your arrest. If you care to discuss this matter further, please contact me. And it's signed by an assistant state's attorney from the criminal division. Okay, that's what this letter said. And again, this don't feel like a win for me. Really, what this feel like, this is a threat. That's all this was. This was a threat. And there was no... I do want to say two things about before I go any further into this timeline. I did not speak about this publicly, just because of the matter of fact, I've been trying to use this time to self-purify. I've been trying to use this time to reflect on things that happened in the summer and trying to educate myself. So I didn't feel like I was of the proper mindset to speak about this publicly. So I did not speak about it publicly. As far as I know, Rockford Orthopedic did not speak about it publicly. All the information that they needed, all the evidence that's going to be used in this trial, was available that day. The video was posted. The video of me finding the van and the mobile, it was all posted online. Everything's public. I try to operate on full transparency in everything that we do. So everything that they had was available on November 8th. And the only thing that I have ever said about this case to anybody really is the fact, I said this to the police officer is that took me in the van, was that I could not wait to have this case go to trial. That I could not wait to see these people lie on the stand. Who I'm being arrested because some old white people try to fight me. Some old white people had to be physically restrained and pushed back into the store. Had to be physically held back. All because they felt the need to erase political messages in chalk. The only thing that I ever said about this case was I cannot wait till this go to trial. So I get this paper on November 30th. And again, it don't feel like any type of justice is done. It don't feel like I was not compensated. There was nothing done for me. There was nothing done to the people who had accused me of this crime. It was nothing done. It was nothing done to the police officers who came and arrested me on that day. It was nothing done at all. We just got $70 back. They paid $70 back. What happened next in this saga is this wouldn't have another date set. I would go to court for my other matters, and this would not be brought up. I believe I went to court either the 6th or the 7th of December. I believe. Maybe later. But what would happen next in this saga after weeks, after a month, on December 22nd, I would be over here. I'd be over here downtown. It'd be early, it was early morning, maybe around like 8:30, and I would see two squad cars pull up. They were driving down this way, but they had pulled up on this side of the road, on the city hall side of the road. And so I got out and I began to walk towards them, and because I was just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, what were they doing? And as I got closer, they began to walk closer to me, and I could tell it was a sick feeling. They was walking the same way the police officers had walked on November 8th. I could tell from the moment that they began to walk towards me that I would be arrested for some type of cause or for some type of allegation. And I would. As they walked closer, they would say that I had a warrant out for my arrest. And initially, this happened on December 22nd. What up? How you doing? Right. Initially, I was just trying to think, what the fuck could this be from? I hadn't done nothing. There had been no events. I had not spoken at anything. I had not had any altercations. So it was really just my mind just trying to think, what the fuck could I be arrested? What the fuck is this warrant for? What the fuck is this warrant for? So I would end up going to, they were down to putting me in a squad car, and I don't know why the fuck they do this, but they drove back to the behind the old Chase Bank, and another van would pick me up, and they would put me in the van, and the same police officers who put me in the van on November 8th would be Sorensen would be the same police officer who picked me up on this day. So he would take me down to the jail, and I'm trying to ask him, what the fuck is this warrant for? What's the charge? What's the allegation? I don't want to. You just taking me with no knowledge, with no information. You just taking me. Excuse me. And he would say that all he knows is it's a disorderly conduct. That's all he knows. So he would take me down to jail, and I'd be sitting there, and eventually the actual warrant would come in. The warrant would come in, and I would ask him, okay, you got the warrant. What's the allegation for? What is this allegation? What's the charge? What's the circumstances around this warrant? And he would say that it evolved around an incident around November 8th with Doreen and John Michael McFarland, and the charge was disorderly conduct. So I tell him, I've already been arrested on this charge. How are you going to arrest me on this charge when I've already been arrested? When you physically was there when they put me in cuffs and loaded me in the van. And at first he tried to say that he don't know. At first he tried to say that he can't be sure that it was on the same day. But then I don't know if he read more of the allegation or if he had some type of copy of the police report, and I don't know what the fuck. But at some point he come around and he realized and acknowledged that it was the same charge on November 8th. It was a arrest warrant for the incident on November 8th. And I would tell him I would try to ask him, how the fuck are you arresting me again for this same charge? It's no new information that has been made available. I have not had any contact with the people from Aqua Orthopedic. There's no cause for this warrant. There's absolutely no new information that they suddenly found. It was nothing new. And the crazy thing about this warrant is when I had been arrested on this day, again, this bond was set at $130. They said this misdemeanor warrant out me for $500. For $500, plus you gotta pay the fees. So think about that. Really, if they kept $60 of that first initial charge and that first initial arrest, how much are they going to keep this time? Are they going to keep 200, 250, 240? How much did they profit off of this? I never asked for this charge to be dropped. I never publicly try to motion for this charge to be dropped. I never spoke about this charge. It was nothing new that they learned. Nothing new. No similar activity. Nothing new. So really, once you get past that point that everything that they say could result in my potential arrest and a warrant being issued for my arrest, when you realize that none of that was done, none of those things were done, then we have to get to a point where we discuss, is this just blatant, gross incompetence, or is this just all-out maliciousness? And really, it could be both. Really, it could be both. Because how does that work? How do I get a signed letter from the state's attorney's office, and a month later they decide, with no just cause, with no just reasoning, with no new information at all, they decide to place another warrant out for my arrest for the exact same charge, except this time it costs $550 to get me out of jail, for a charge that I had already been bonded out for a charge that I went to my court date. I had went to my court date and I told them I'm here for this charge. I can't wait till this go to trial. I can't wait. This is either gross miscompetence or all-out maliciousness. And really, in full transparency, I believe it's both. I believe it's both. There's no other way around that. It's no accident that this happened. It's no just by mistake, by circumstances that this happened. This is either gross miscompetence or all-out maliciousness. This is what has been going on. This is what has been going on recently. $600, arrested twice for the exact same charge. Arrested twice on the exact same charge. So really, that leave me in a place that, okay, what's next? What next could they hold over my head? If they can pull out this bullshit warrant, if they can, it really seemed like, to me, they dropped this charge just to arrest me on it again. They dropped this charge. I don't know if they worried about this cash bail ending. I don't know what the fuck they worried about. They just trying to get every dollar's worth, every penny's worth. I don't know what the fuck they doing. But this is both. I'm gonna stop saying both. I'm gonna stop saying either or. This is both gross incompetence. It's incompetence that I have to go up and down to these different floors and to talk to these different people just to find out that this case has been dropped, just to get some type of proof that this case has been dropped. Really, this might be what it is. Now that I'm thinking about this and now that I'm speaking about this in a public outlet, really it might be that they're pissed that I went and spent the energy to get this paperwork. That they're pissed that they had to sign a letter saying that they dropped charges, that they didn't want to pursue these charges anymore. Think about this, happened in November. I ended up getting arrested again on December 22nd. The first time I had ever been arrested was on August 7th, 2020. August 7th, 2020. In all this time, in this a year and a half, not have one drop charge, just for this 2 charges to be dropped, only for me to be arrested again on them a month later. That's what this state's attorney that some people walk around taking pictures of is out here doing. This. And again, I don't really. It leave me at a point. It leave me at a point where I almost don't want any of these charges dropped. That's really where it leave me at. It leave me at a point where, in the future, if tomorrow they was to randomly decide that they was gonna drop 14 of my cases, I would be pissed. I would be pissed because nothing would happen to the police officers that unlawfully arrested me on August 7th. Nothing would happen to the police officers that assaulted me on September 10th of this year. Nothing would happen to the police officers that assaulted me and put me in a spit mask and told me that they don't want me to breathe anymore last September. Nothing would happen to any of them. The only thing that would happen is I don't even want to say most. I would get some of the money back. That's the only thing that would happen. Some. And they will keep their half. They will keep their half for beating my ass. They will keep their half for putting me in a Ferguson jacket. They will keep their half for assaulting me. They will keep their half though. So that's really where I'm at now. I don't want none of these charges dropped. I don't want none. I don't want no charge drop. I don't want no disorderly drop. I don't want no felony drop. I want to go to every damn trial. That's where we at now. I'm going to 15. Right now we at 15. And I guarantee you it's probably going to be more bullshit ass disorderlies. But at this point in time, I'm going through 15 damn trials. And I cannot wait. I don't care if it takes me 10 years. I don't care if it takes me 15 years. I don't care if I still got to deal with this shit when I'm fucking 40. I'm going through 15 fucking trials. Not guilty. I want to hear it. Not guilty. I want to look over in the state's attorney's face and hear that not guilty. I want to hear it 15 goddamn times. $15 times. This paper made me laugh. When I was pursuing it, when I wanted to get this letter, when I wanted to get this signed letter saying that this charges would drop, I had thought that it would give me some type of relief. I had thought that it would provide some type of comfort. I would thought that it would alleviate some of the pressures that revolve around this. Really, I'm realizing now just how naive that was. I'm 22 now. And I feel like as a part of growing up, as a part of growing older, that I am forced to realize that the youth that I have now is vital strength, is a very important strength. But I also realize that in certain situations that my youth, can cause and lead to some naiveness. And that's really what it feels like getting this paper. I was naive enough to think that this actually meant something. I was naive enough to think that the state's attorney would sign a paper and he would keep his word that was on this paper. I was naive enough to think that nothing would come from this again. I was naive enough to think that it was some type of integrity, that they wouldn't go out of their way to write this paperwork, to drop these charges unnecessarily, just to reapply them a month later and arrest me on a bond that is exponentially higher than the bond that I was arrested on this day, and a few hours after the allegation. Now I would just feel like I just can look at this paper and laugh. I can just look at this paper, and this paper just making me dig my heels in deeper. This paper just making me, this paper just really, this paper is the worst thing they could have done. This is the worst thing that they could have done if they wanted these trials, if they wanted these cases to be played out or make me plead to some type of bullshit ass deal. This is the worst thing they could have done, because now I'm ready. I got time. I got the energy. I got that shit. I got it. I'm here. We here. We ready. 15 trials, we ready. I don't know what day this is. I believe we in the 470s now. But at this point, as of today, I'm ready to stay here until each and every one of these damn trials is done. I'm ready to stay here until each one of these trials is done and I hear that not guilty. I'm gonna say day 470, the struggle continues.